Dodge this.
This is Sparta!
I have an army. We have a Hulk.
Say hello to my new friend! Say what again?
I'm gonna make him an offer again.
Voice is strong.
You talking to me?
Ladies and gents, welcome to episode 6 of the BTG MovieCast. My name is Stephen Nagel.
My name is Dean Raval.
And we are your hosts for this monthly podcast. So just to let you guys know, we did actually record our podcast for this month, but there was some technical issues, so we're re-recording quite late in the month. So for those avid fans out there
Yes.
who might have been waiting for the latest episode, apologies for the lateness.
Yeah. Thanks, Jim.
But yeah, thanks Gary, I appreciate it. Jeff. Cool, but basically what we do in this podcast is we discuss, like latest news, and we also discuss what we recommend, a show or two or movie or two, and then we also discuss a main topic each month. So Dean, you just want to take us through what this month's podcast is going to be about?
Absolutely. So this month we'll be talking about what we're watching at the moment. I'm going to do a kind of a season recap of Ballers and looking into season 2, which just started. Nagel will be talking about Stranger Things, which is a new Netflix series that everyone's raving about. And then we'll also talk about San Diego Comic-Con, or Nerdvana. Quite a big occasion up in the States, and it obviously ripples through all the online channels as well. So we'll be talking about some of the feedback and announcements and all the trailers that have been released, which will filter into our much larger topic, which is what makes a good trailer and why are they effective? What do we think are really good examples of good trailers? So yeah, that's our topic for this month.
Cool. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. As Dean mentioned, one of the shows that I recommend at the moment is Stranger Things. And this show is by the Duffer Brothers. And essentially it's literally every critic has been describing it as Stephen King meets
Steven
Spielberg, a little bit of John Carpenter in there as well.
Oh, nice.
So the basic premise is that a kid goes missing, and then his friends go looking for him, and strange things start to happen.
Sure.
Stranger things start to happen.
Yeah.
Get it? It's full on like sci-fi mystery, a little bit of horror elements in there as well.
Sure.
That's why I brought up the whole Stephen King comparison. And it's interesting because Stephen King actually gave a shout out to the show, saying that Stranger Things is kind of like a greatest hits of Stephen King.
Almost a love letter to Stephen King.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like a bit of a humble brag. But yeah, it's a really damn good show. Amazing cliffhangers at the end of each episode. Sometimes they even have like a cliffhanger in the cold open, and then they have the intro music, and then they have like the resolution. But it's like small cliffhangers. And the music is amazing. It's got this whole kind of like synth vibe going into it for the theme as well, which is really awesome. Very 80s.
Yeah.
The show is set in the 80s.
Okay.
So it's super 80s. Like, it feels 80s, and I think that's
where the
really
John
cool.
Carpenter thing, I guess.
Exactly. Really fun, interesting show. It's only 8 episodes, first season. There hasn't been talk about season 2, whether it's going to be a continuation of the story or whether it's an anthology type thing. But at the end of the day, people who have been watching it have been thoroughly enjoying it, and think that you guys would enjoy it too. So check it out.
Absolutely.
That's Stranger Things, and it's streaming on Netflix at the moment.
Yeah, so basically what I'm looking forward to is season 2 of Ballers, HBO show that premiered last year to rave reviews, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Short form kind of comedy series about retired football players and the other side of football, kind of off the field kind of antics. So it follows Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as more of a financial advisor / agent or fixer. I really enjoyed season 1. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was fresh. I hadn't seen anything like that since maybe Entourage. It kind of has that same look and feel. It's pretty much Entourage, but not in Hollywood. And season 2 just recently started, so you can check that out. It's on HBO. Definitely something that I'm looking to follow through with. It's one of the better shows on TV right now. It's got a nice blend of comedy, some good drama as well, and it's very entertaining. So I definitely recommend, if you haven't watched season 1, I'm sure there's various ways that you can catch up on that. And season 2 has just started.
Cool. So that's what we recommend this month. Stranger Things and Ballers season 2.
Say Ballers again.
Ballers. Yeah. So yeah, that wraps up our recommendations. So let's move straight into our highlights of San Diego Comic-Con 2016.
Absolutely, the huge event for nerds and geeks, and even those who, well, that's pretty much everyone these days with the influx of comic book movies, and it's taken over. And Comic-Con is massive. It's a really good place for people to geek out, and this year was no exception. Some of the really cool things that happened this year, some casting news, especially from the Marvel universe. We had mentioned in our previous podcast that Brie Larson was one of the top contenders for Captain Marvel, and she was officially announced at Comic-Con via her own Instagram account. She also had jokingly sent I think it was a tweet to Chris Evans saying, "I'm the captain now," because he's Captain America. Yeah. And then she also rushed on stage to take a group selfie with the Marvel team. So she's very much into the role. Speaking of very strong women in terms of casting, Black Panther announced that Danai Gurira from Walking Dead fame, Michonne, will be joining the cast as well. Yep. So that cast is growing quite nicely. She'll be obviously joining Lupita Nyong'o, Michael B. Jordan, and also be joining Chadwick Boseman. So that's a very cool inclusion into the cast, and she's blowing up now, so it's good to kind of capitalize on that. And she's a fantastic actress as well.
I think obviously The Walking Dead was one of her bigger roles, and that really kind of brought her to fame, really. And it's going to be really interesting to see her in this film.
Absolutely.
The thing about Black Panther that kind of has me like giving a little bit of side eye is like, it feels like it's the Marvel film for black people.
It does. You know, I feel like it's a Madea movie.
Yeah, like I would, to be honest with you, like I'm not throwing shade or anything, but what I am saying is that why can't we just have more minorities in America in other Marvel properties? You know? Like why can't they just balance it out more in other properties instead of like saying, guys, this is the black Marvel film and everything about it will be black.
Even the director.
Okay, that's your quota. Bye now. So, like, that's kind of me being a pessimist. But
I suppose. I mean, it's kind of counterbalancing the Oscar so white, and it's I don't know. I think you could look at it from that perspective. Like they're just throwing a whole bunch of really talented and really pretty.
Look, I'm not trying to discount.
People,
I'm not trying to discount that. I'm saying, take all that cast and literally put them in different Marvel movies. Like, why does it have to be this one culmination of black Marvel?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like they're ticking off, like, okay, we did our black Marvel movie for the year. Okay, cool.
Exactly.
But that's very pessimistic. That's another discussion for another podcast. So that's the casting news for Black Panther. Another announcement that was made at SDCC is that it's Vampire Diaries final season. Finally. Honestly, how long can it last? And the answer is 8 seasons. It's done now.
I don't want us to spend more than 30 seconds on this.
Honestly,
I stopped watching that show millions of years ago.
I kind of gave it until season 7. I didn't watch the end of season 7, to be completely honest with you. But as soon as main characters started being quote unquote killed off, and main actors started leaving, you knew it was just a matter of time, and I'm glad they finally put it to rest. Rest in peace, Vampire Diaries. Thanks for the memories.
Do you know what? And this will probably be for a future discussion, but it's this whole thing of like knowing when to stop. And I think a lot of shows don't know when to stop, and the same thing goes for Supernatural, for example.
Absolutely.
And then you get shows like Breaking Bad, and they knew. They went out on top.
Exactly.
Breaking Bad took a long time to get that following. But when it hit season 3, season 4 it had a strong and dominant following, and everyone loved the show and loved how morbid the show was and how crazy the characters were and the situations. They went out on top.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
I mean, jumping the shark is a real thing. For those of you who don't know what jumping the shark is, please Google that. But I mean, it's very much applicable here. So that's another thing that kind of one of the big announcements at SDCC. And obviously, as you would expect with a Comic-Con event, there's going to be a lot of Marvel and DC representation. Or sometimes there won't be. DC came out in huge numbers. And pretty much with Suicide Squad being released on the 5th of August, Wonder Woman, Justice League, and even the Flash movie coming out relatively soon, they took this as the opportunity to kind of put everything out on the table, had great panels, you know, a lot of footage and a lot of trailers that came out. On the flip side, Marvel, or specifically the Marvel Cinematic Universe, not so much. I honestly expected some Guardians of the Galaxy, some Spider-Man, and they were showing some footage.
Well, yeah, it's the whole thing with kind of like the discretion of Marvel versus the pomposity of DC Comics.
Pomposity, lovely.
At this convention this year, because Marvel, there was no shortage of Marvel footage. I mean, Spider-Man Homecoming had a lot of footage, and so did Guardians of the Galaxy, which people are raving about apparently. Yeah. But Marvel kept a lot of the footage exclusive to the convention, whereas DC just pumped everything out onto YouTube, basically at the same time or slightly after it was aired at Comic-Con. Yeah. So I think it's also like different kind of general marketing approaches to that whole thing. And it's really interesting to see that like in the year that DC's come out blasting, DC and Warner Brothers have come out blasting with their cinematic content, and now everyone's kind of psyched up about that. But at the end of the day, a lot of people are also drawn to kind of this discreet manner in which Marvel is kind of like touting audiences and saying like, look, we've got Guardians of the Galaxy 2 for you, we've got Spider-Man Homecoming, but you're gonna have to wait for it. It's that whole kind of delayed gratification thing as well. So
it's a bold move though, because I mean, if you think about it, the way things happen these days is people have cell phones and they take you know, really terrible videos of these trailers and footage, and they post it up online. And I think what DC maybe tried to do was kind of control that situation.
The message, and keep control of their messaging. Make sure that the first version that people see of a trailer is the version that they want to see, which is super HD, completely touched up. The final version that they want people to see.
Absolutely.
As opposed to some shitty phone recording, which is what happened with a lot of the previous properties.
Exactly. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people took some videos of Spider-Man Homecoming or Guardians of the Galaxy, whether or not those properties and the studios are monitoring that situation online and quickly taking it off.
I haven't actually seen anything go viral, because usually smaller blogs would post that type of thing. We don't really do that most of the time. I mean, we did it like once, I think. But it's not basically something we do generally. But I haven't actually heard much about Spider-Man Homecoming or Guardians of the Galaxy, aside from the anticipation in the build-up to
it's like everyone in, I think it's all age, everyone who was there for that thing like took a blood oath and said, hey guys, we're not going to tell anyone else. It's our little secret.
Apparently they were talking about some way of blocking them from doing it, so maybe it's like signal blocking, like our parliament here or something.
But if we can do it, then they can definitely do it.
You know, so maybe they've got like a signal jammer going on there, or something that scrambles the screen when you point a recorder at it.
Absolutely.
So, who knows.
We obviously touched on Suicide Squad and how they and Marvel, and DC are kind of using this, especially Suicide Squad, because it's being released relatively soon, and we will be watching it
in glorious IMAX.
Glorious IMAX.
Just over a week.
Absolutely, on the 6th of August, one day after it's released. So, I mean, it goes without saying that they would use this as a huge platform for them to punt all of their sort of last minute trailers and, you know, all those kind of things to get the hype going for the official release. So I'm expecting huge box office numbers for Suicide Squad. Probably a strategic move on their part to release the film immediately after Comic-Con. A couple of really awesome trailers that we saw. Lego Batman. I know we've been raving about that one.
It's the best Batman movie.
It's really the best. No offense, Christopher Nolan. I've got your Dark Knight trilogy at home in a box set, but Lego Batman is just everything you want it to be.
Look, it's going to be ironic, but I think Lego Batman is going to be better than Batman vs Superman.
I think that goes without saying. I think the trailer of Lego Batman is better than that whole movie.
Actually, I was going to recommend The Killing Joke, the R-rated animated movie. Which was recently released. I just started watching it before we started doing this podcast. So I haven't finished it yet, but so far that movie is amazing as well.
DC knows how to do their animated movies, man.
Yes.
Honestly, they really do.
Add that to the recommendation, and also it's going to be better than Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
I also watched the ultimate version of Batman v Superman, and while there was a ton of new footage, it was pretty lame as well. So
Because what the runtime is like 3 hours and 10
3
minutes.
hours, and it was a waste of my life.
Nice.
So I've basically wasted 5.5 hours of my life on this piece of shit.
It's rough.
Yeah, okay, it's not a piece of shit. A lot of people put a lot of hard work into it, but it didn't come together that well. Anyways, moving on.
There's a lot of talk about, and we're going to use this as a segue, Justice League.
Yeah.
That trailer was released as well at San Diego Comic-Con. And a lot of people obviously comparing it to Batman vs. Superman, as you would.
Sure.
I thought it was a really, really good trailer in the sense of the mood was there. It was very upbeat, and it was very much Sam Jackson recruiting everyone. I liked that you kind of got to know all these different characters. One of the reviews that I mentioned for the trailer was that it was more about character definition and more about learning about these characters. There was no like big scene with a big enemy. They mentioned that there is an enemy after them and a couple of short little clips, but the trailer itself was about assembling this team.
Sure.
There was a very distinct lack of Superman, even though we did get a little bit of glimpse at the end of Batman vs. Superman that he's still alive. Yeah. Spoilers.
And the promotional imagery that's been out.
Exactly.
He's featured in there, so...
He was at the panel as well.
Yeah.
So let's not, fool ourselves.
Yeah, I think like they've kind of set it up with, at the end of Batman vs. Superman, spoilers, the dirt rising off the coffin. Like, we kind of know that he's still alive.
Exactly.
Like, it's just going to be, it's more about, like how they're going to do it. Like, if it's going to be a good way of telling that story.
Absolutely.
And
let's
so
also,
I don't think they are too worried, like, with their whole theme of pomposity. They're not really worried about discretion. So, like, you know what? Superman's in the next movie. Fuck it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's done with it.
Let's also talk about Aquaman.
Yeah.
Aquaman has been the butt of every single DC joke ever.
Yeah.
And this movie, I mean, honestly, like from the trailer alone, it just looks like it's the most badass representation of Aquaman ever. Obviously, Jason Momoa is a beast of a human being.
Dude,
people know him.
I saw this thing like where they took a picture of him next to Henry Cavill, and it's ridiculous how big he is.
Yeah, honestly.
People like saying like he's a beast.
And
like,
Henry Cavill is built. He's huge.
Dude, it's ridiculous. He looks like a school kid next to him.
Yeah.
Next to freaking
Jason Momoa. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that's one of my I'm more interested in Aquaman than pretty much any of the other characters, to be completely honest with you. I do want to see what they want to do with the Flash and also Cyborg. They didn't go that deeply into his character, but we'll probably get that in other trailers.
Yeah, for me, Cyborg looked a bit meh. Like his full CG suit, I wasn't really too impressed with it.
Yeah, a lot of people actually weren't impressed with the Flash suit as well.
I noticed that. I didn't mind it at all. Like, for me, the Flash character was really on point. And to be honest with you, I've never been a fan of... I know a lot of people are the Flash series. Yeah. I started watching it, but all this... Flash is on CW, right?
Yes, correct.
All of the CW series, for me, they look very glossy.
Yeah, it's very TV glossy.
It looks like it's created in Photoshop.
Yeah.
You know, like... so, like, for example, I follow this guy on Instagram, Boss Logic. He does, like... fan art of it, and it looks like the whole show's made by him. Which he does great work, but it just looks like it's done, like everything's in Photoshop. Sure. So it's kind of like these HD wallpaper looking things, and for me, I just can't get past that. Sure. So but I get what people are saying about the fact that the suit looks kind of like the Red Power Ranger, and meets Tony Stark, Iron Man. But yeah, apparently there's been rumors that that's one version of the suit that he built for himself, and that Batman's going to give him another suit that has a more retro look.
Of course.
But that's all completely like speculation and rumors. Yeah. But for me, like, the character was on point, and I think that's something they laid down so nicely in this trailer.
Absolutely.
Aquaman's character, beast, and he's kind of like that match to Batman. There's going to be that tension between them.
Absolutely. It looks like he's not going to be an easy sell.
Exactly.
To join.
And then the Flash, who's completely just like... I think they did a good job. Like, I don't know how well Barry Allen is represented in the CW show. You probably know that better than I do. And a lot of people like that portrayal, but this one for me was just as good. Yeah. Like, it was... that's the Flash.
To be honest, he had to make it his own. Which from what I've seen of the trailer, it does look like a very stark difference between... the one from the TV series and the one from the movie universe. So that's pretty cool. Another member that we're saving for last with good reason, is Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Who didn't have the longest screen time in the Justice League trailer.
Well, that's because she's busy checking emails as usual. For those of you who didn't get that, she checks. Well, it's Batman that checks the emails that she also has access to, where they actually find out about the Justice League. That's the Justice League cameos in Batman v
very
Superman.
Underwhelming Justice League cameos
via email.
Correct.
And they've all got nice, pretty logos.
Yes, yeah, on point.
Yeah.
But the reason we bring up Wonder Woman is because she also had a really awesome trailer that was released. Really, really good trailer. Like, it's honestly, when I was about to watch it, I thought to myself, okay, maybe it's gonna be like a forgetful kind of origin story that it's not gonna really do anything for me, but her appearing in Justice League I thought, I drew a lot of comparisons to Captain America First Avenger, and how it was a movie that I had to watch to get to the Avengers, and I thought it was going to be the same scenario, but I actually feel it's a little bit different. I feel like Wonder Woman's story, first of all, is going to be, it's really going to put her on this pedestal. It's really going to make her pretty much a force to be reckoned with in terms of the whole team.
Sure, and that's brilliant. She's part of that top trinity,
exactly.
Like Batman, Superman, Wonder
Woman. Yeah, she is right up there, and she should be. And I think this film is going to do great things for that.
Yeah.
I also like that they introduced Steve Trevor, who's going to be played by Chris Pine, and it's going to be really interesting to see the jump from that time to Justice League, and what's going to happen to kind of bridge that gap. So it's a fantastic trailer. Do you have any thoughts on the trailer itself?
Yeah, dude, Robin Wright.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm in love. Seriously, like, her character looks so fierce, and the way she moves in battle, it's it's unbelievable. For a long time, I was a bit of a critic of Gal Gadot,
Gadot.
I don't know. I was a critic of her as Wonder Woman because of her build.
Yes.
So, but I mean, I've already seen, like, in the past, like, I had the same approach to Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse, because he's not very big.
Yeah, he's a tiny man.
But I mean, his acting actually brought it up to scratch, and I liked what Gal Gadot was doing in Batman v Superman. So with the character, not necessarily with the actual physicality of it all. So I can appreciate that, but at the same time, there's some moments where it's not her stunt double acting in that trailer, where I'm like, the way she moves in that, it's not like that formidable force. It's not that martial artist or that demigod.
Yeah.
And then there are other sections where it's a stunt double, and then she's moving like a martial artist.
Yeah.
So for me, that's the one thing that's a bit of a downer. But other than that, I'm really looking forward to this film.
Absolutely.
It's going to be amazing.
Read some more of our reactions, or rather Jamie, our newest contributor to the blog, BTGLifestyle.com.
We've got a new contributor on the blog, Jamie Lee Jacobs. You can find her first piece for us on the blog, which is why she needs Wonder Woman the movie to be as awesome as the trailer was.
Yeah.
And she talks about women representation in movies, and especially superhero movies. And it's a really good read, so check that out. She's also doing another piece, which should be published by the time this comes out, and it's about Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, so check that out as well, guys.
Absolutely, yeah. It's great to have some new people on board. So obviously Wonder Woman's trailer was amazing. We know this. So was Justice League. And there was a lot of good trailers at San Diego Comic-Con. But what makes a good trailer? I mean, it's something that we thought about, quite extensively, and we did some research on it.
Sure.
We came across some attributes of a good trailer, which we kind of thought it was worth mentioning and worth discussing.
Yeah.
So we've got 5. The first one is that it should be humble.
Yeah.
50 Shades of Grey was released last year on Valentine's Day.
Sure.
And I remember in the build-up to it, it was in one of the trailers that I saw, it was deemed the film event of the decade, which is overselling it in its utmost ridiculous form.
Yeah.
Like, that for me is a line that just says, hey guys, this is a film that we absolutely love and you should love it too.
Basically, I think it's cool for them to do quotes, but it depends on what the quote is.
Exactly.
Like, you can say something like, this is a really great, cool film, amazing, stunning. You know, use like those kind of adjectives to describe it. But great film versus the best. Don't call your film the best or the greatest. Or, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. So, rather undersell and then let people get surprised at how great it is. You know what I mean? So that's one aspect. Another one is that a trailer should set up the basic premise. This kind of goes without saying. If you see a trailer for something, you want it to set up the story. So Finding Dory, for instance. I mean, we know Finding Nemo, what the story is about. Finding Dory in the first trailer that we saw, it sets up that kind of, you know, there's a problem she wants to kind of, she remembers something, she wants to see her family. And it's that journey of, you know, and Finding Nemo was the same kind of thing. It was like a road trip movie, but underwater.
But that's the thing, like you kind of set it up.
Exactly.
But you don't give away the major plot points.
Correct. Another thing that you should stay away from when it comes to trailers is like huge plot reveals. Like that one thing at the end of the movie that it's essentially spoilers and deaths, and you know, why put a death in a trailer? It makes no sense unless it's something that is known to happen. Like you can have a clip of Batman's parents dying because they die all the time.
Everybody knows that.
If I see a trailer of Spider-Man Homecoming, it's okay if Uncle Ben dies. Although I hate the fact that he's always dying. Shame, poor guy.
That's canon.
But it's canon, exactly. Everyone knows that.
And it's been illustrated for like decades.
Yeah.
So
I'm not gonna get mad if they kill Uncle Ben in the trailer. But at the same time, if you're killing off...
Man, I might even get mad if they don't. Yeah.
So that's another big thing. Keep the basic premise, but let it stay there. And another thing, introduce some, but not necessarily all of the main characters. So in trailers, I know for the first Batman vs Superman trailer, they had a couple of voiceovers from Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, but they didn't actually have him on screen. Which was good because it was a little bit of a tease, but you know, they didn't actually introduce him in full force. And that's something you should do with your trailers. You should have as many characters as you can, but at the same time, make sure that it's not packing the trailer and not kind of overwhelming the viewer. Yeah,
I didn't even know with the BVS trailer that was Lex Luthor's voice until it was pointed out by like some person who broke down the trailer like line for line. But yeah, like that was pretty interesting.
Absolutely. And don't introduce Doomsday, especially as your final thing.
Speaking about Batman v Superman.
Hated, honestly. One of the main things that I love about trailers, and it's one of the big draw card, is that for a good trailer to be a good trailer, it needs to have really awesome music. It's one of the things that I think kind of makes or breaks a trailer. You think of Guardians of the Galaxy as prime example of this, especially their soundtrack. It's so perfect. And we're seeing a good trend with Suicide Squad as well. I remember a trailer for The Social Network where they did Creep by Radiohead, but a choir version, which was fantastic.
I mean, for example, I still listen to the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack.
Absolutely.
And I'm probably going to do the same thing for Suicide Squad as well.
Exactly, yeah. So it's really, really good music that they're using to kind of get the hype going, which is fantastic. And it's something that should be used in your trailers.
Yeah.
And an example of how it can actually deter from the trailer, I mean, I saw the Assassin's Creed trailer where they used Kanye West's I'm a God, and the comments on YouTube was pretty much really good trailer except for the fact that the music did nothing for it. It actually took away the focus and actually made it less of a good trailer.
Someone actually de-edited that with the music from the game, and it's like amazing.
It's amazing.
But then on the other hand, you've got like Kanye West's Black Skinhead, which was used in Wolf of Wall Street, and that fits perfectly well with the mood and the tone of the entire film.
Exactly. And I'm glad you brought up mood, because that's the number one thing, is that trailers need to capture the mood of the movie. So for instance, if you're making a trailer about a movie that has douchebags on Wall Street, you know, it's nice to have a douchebag in the music industry as well, kind of, you know, setting the tone. Sorry, Kanye West, we love you.
So much shade.
So yeah, I remember like the Cloverfield trailer when I first saw it. It had that air of mystery to it, which is exactly what Cloverfield is. So it kind of transitions well and makes the trailer needs to have the same mood that the movie is. Even with Suicide Squad, first trailer was a little bit, it had a nice little dark tone to it. But at the same time, with the second and third trailer, and even in the first trailer, there were hints of a really kind of quirky, upbeat. At the same time,
I think what they've done is they've taken that whole thing of the Joker, where it's this kind of like happy, smiley, but in a dark way.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that juxtaposition of this light tone with this dark kind of scenery. So yeah, I think they're using it to great effect, that juxtaposition between light and dark.
And then there was a trailer for Star Trek. I think it was the first one, Star
Trek
Beyond.
Trailer, that people kind of shat on because they basically copied what Guardians of the Galaxy did. With like this kind of upbeat poppy song, but it wasn't Star Trek.
Exactly.
You know, like that came with the brand, whereas Guardians of the Galaxy, no one had seen Guardians of the Galaxy before this, and it was just like they brought something new to the table.
Yeah.
Whereas with Star Trek, people have a certain expectation for tone, and you know, while you can do something new, and I mean the new reviews are out for the new film, and it's like people are saying that it does some cool new things, but it has a lot of the old as well, but it's all about striking that balance.
Exactly.
So yeah.
And I think that was a case of the whole Hollywood copycatting thing, which we mentioned in one of our previous podcasts. You know, if it works for Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe it'll work for us, but it's not always that easy.
Exactly.
So that's definitely another thing. Capture the mood of the movie. So those are kind of the things that we notice are good attributes for good trailers. So just to recap, should be humble, should set up the basic premise, introduce some but not all of the main characters, use awesome music, and then capture the mood of the movie as well. I think I agree with pretty much all of those.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there anything else that you think maybe should be kept in mind?
That covers it.
Yeah, it really does. I think
that's what makes a good trailer.
Absolutely. I mean, and you can think of really good examples, and chances are all 5 of those will kind of, you know, fit the bill with regards to any trailers that you're thinking of. Hit us up in the comments if you can think of any really good trailers that stood out for you on btglifestyle.com.
Cool. Yeah, I think that brings us to a close for this month's podcast. We've had a really awesome time nerding out over SDCC.
Absolutely.
And also talking about trailers and what we recommend. So we hope you listen to some of our recommendations, and we also hope that you check out those trailers. Let us know what you guys think. You can catch us on Twitter at BTG Lifestyle, or on Facebook at facebook.com/BTG Lifestyle. And you can also follow our blog, where we post reviews, news, analysis, and more. BTGLifestyle.com.
Then we've got new content creators, so it's not just a boys club. We've got Jamie, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, shout out to Jamie for being our awesome new contributor. And yeah, we're looking forward to many awesome pieces from her. That's it from us, guys. Gene, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Deno15. That's DEENO15.
You can catch me on Twitter as well at TheSnagel, TheSnagel. You can also catch both of us writing at btglifestyle.com.
Correct.
Thanks for joining us, guys, and we'll see you next month.
Peace.
Dodge this.
This is Sparta! I have an army. We have a Hulk.
Say hello to my little friend! Say what again?
I want to make him an offer, Captain.